Devs on Stage
2026.
What did you think?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I think there was a good mix of feed the audience, of like who's that audience and what they want to see, and then the other things that Tableau needs to cover sort of everybody.
Right.
In that way.
Right.
Yeah. And there was one big thing I was missing that we'll come to.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, classic kind of Tableau. Somebody mentioned to me that you could sort of plug and play the script of these things from the keynotes to the Dev on Stage, back to the Francois years. It's a little bit like Tableau's got its sauce, and it just keeps rinsing and rewashing that sauce. There are a few things I was looking for, just in general, like big themes, like Tableau being at a crossroads, the migration from excitement around AI to governance of AI, ecosystem integration, like all of these big themes I was looking for.
And did you find them?
Somewhat. On the AI front, there were announcements, Tableau agent this, Tableau agent that. Some of those I think were only available in Next, not necessarily in Cloud and Server just yet.
Like there was this was actually my biggest thing that I wanted to see. So last year, at the Tableau Labs part of Devs on Stage, there was the presentation of the authoring extensions, and they got the most applause and everything by far.
It was excitement all around.
Excitement all around. So here we are a year later, and they're still in process. And I was really hoping we'd see
something.
We'd see a demo, and that extensions are coming, what release they're coming in, and everything. And we didn't see that.
It was just kind of crickets on that front. Yeah.
And this is authoring extensions in the Tableau Cloud Server desktop, Tableau Classic part of Tableau. We did see agent-based authoring for Next.
For Next, right.
Yep. We did see that for Next. And so that's my what's up Tableau.
Right. I mean, everything takes longer than you think, right? Like for the duration that we've been waiting for composable data sources, now they're finally coming, right?
Yes. And
one might argue that...
Can I say one thing on data sources?
Yeah.
That I think is huge, and this has been an ask from the community for a decade, has been published data sources in cloud. And if you think of the work, like I just did a presentation where I was using American Community Survey data. That was not the raw ACS, American Community Survey data I was presenting. I had to make it go through some hoops before I got to my presentation data. If somebody can do that and get that up on cloud for other people, or public, for other people, and share it out, and anybody can use it with composable data sources for public, which I assume will be coming. I hope. I have a question out on that. Then that opens up a whole new set of people to the possibilities of Tableau Public.
Right, and I can even see data chefs kind of creating a name for themselves, not for their fancy viz with their curvy lines, but for their data sets that they curate.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So those data sets coming to public is good, and where I was going with the composable data sources and the kind of clock ticking on the authoring APIs extension is just that we've been navigating back and forth about the pros and the cons of Tableau being such a mature product, right? And so to take a little bit of a green lens stance at the amount of time that it takes for them to come out with these things.
So what is the positive framing of this?
The positive framing of this is that they've got such a rich platform underneath, right? And so the level of effort I think that it takes to actually make a feature set like composable data sources come to fruition with the enterprise structure, the enterprise scale, the performance, the caching, the row-level security.
And the metrics integration.
The metrics
is also
integration,
part of that.
Right. So I think it's easy to say, hey, there's this new competitor who's coming up that has, a fancy new thing that's developing really fast with an infinite green field. They don't have loads of tech debt, right? Both can be true at the same time. Although I'm with you on the real need for Tableau to come through with the authoring experience, the AI-assisted authoring experience, because that's clearly where the marketplace is at, and the more time that goes by without them having that, I think the more of a detriment it's going to be.
I want to talk about one thing for me in the, I've got a slide, we'll put it up on the screen here, with kind of thinking about, historically Tableau had this cycle of visual analytics, and what are the questions that come up when somebody starts using AI and Tableau? And so it's things like, help me build a dashboard from scratch.
Yeah, just
for example, and do that. Help me build a data pipeline from scratch. And so where I'm going with this is the help me build the dashboard from scratch. I didn't see as much, but in a lot of other areas, what we saw today, Tableau's thinking about it and working on it. So the AI search tool we saw, help me find wherever that data is and actually help me answer questions without me having to know what I need to click on in the dashboard that somebody built. So that's there. Being in Tableau Prep, that type in to do something could also launch you into agent. It could take care of that building of the data pipeline. Then in the Tableau Labs, there was the Tableau Solve demo and the Project Bongo demos that were both in that, okay, I've got a lot of data out there, I've got a lot of things going on out there, or Project Bongo was more everything out there, how do I get what I need?
Help me to get to a defensible baseline.
So let me turn on a Tableau tool to do that deep research and give me something. So it's answering that. And then the solve is also solving for that, let me dump it into Excel and let me do more analytics. I have to leave Tableau to do something. Can Tableau help me go deeper with the tool?
Just drag my forecast up. It was beautiful.
Yes, and then some new UI things in there that were amazing. So in of these, and then yesterday we saw more on the governance side as well.
Yeah.
I feel like Tableau's filling in multiple dimensions at once of gaps in
and at the same time, I wanted to vote for all three because I really feel like, to be moving forward, they need to be pushing all of those fronts all at the same time.
Yes.
I voted for the radial layouts, even though what got the greatest amount of applause actually from the actual things that are actually being released are these quality of life features that are coming in the core feature set of doing visualization, like the map layers. Right?
Or now layers for everything.
Layers for everything, right?
Can I jump on that topic once? Because I think that's a feature for me that's bigger because it serves two needs at once. So one is we want to make the really beautiful visualization and we want to layer things in. That's the other piece from an analytical sense. Let's say I've got I'll take Superstore and we have ship date and order date on Superstore. And I don't want to dual access them, but I want to lay things on effectively the same date access. This layers functionality is going to start letting us get there in doing that. It might not. It might require a little bit of calculations to do, depending on how it's there.
I mean,
but that's a feature that enable us to advance what we can do for analytics in the tool. And I'm glad we're seeing some of that. Besides things like transparent tooltips, dark mode. To have.
Yeah, and this is where I was going. You get the dark mode, the vector image exports, the drive time selection.
Or dynamic field formatting.
Like all of these things got massive amounts of applause, which means that the excitement was there for those, which is really kind of in this core space of dashboarding and visualization and traditional BI, not necessarily the agentic stuff that we saw in the keynote yesterday, right?
Yep. I totally agree with that. I also think there's this piece, and it goes to what I disagreed with you about on our post talk yesterday, was anything that's making us have to do less clicks.
Totally.
Is thus making that balance of like, okay, when do we need to go to AI or leave Tableau totally versus how much can we get done inside of Tableau?
Yep. I couldn't agree more that one of the greatest things, and we actually spoke to Matthew Miller about this off camera, was just the need to reduce the number of clicks, to just treat it like Amazon and just shave off all of the friction that it takes to interact with Tableau. I guess to round it out, like I would love it if the three things that were kind of feature sets that the crowd could choose from, we only got to vote for one.
Yeah.
right? Like this to me is the main thing, is that Tableau is hitting on a lot of cylinders, not all of them,
Yeah.
right? Like there's some delay to get to market. We've been waiting for the composable data sources, they're coming. We've been waiting for the authoring experience, it's coming. All of the things that they showed that we could vote for at the end were great, but they're not going to be able to move them all forward at the same time, right?
That's also a place for me, and this is kind of more thinking about the enterprise level of this, is check out what was done in the hackathons as well. That what's possible with the tooling, with the Tableau APIs that are available, those hackathon demos, they're all genius in what that can be done with Tableau. And there's at least 3 or 4 of them. Like, how can I get thinking about like, how can we get these into production?
How can we get them into the product?
Production teams. And things like the Project Bongo, like how much
does it
could
take
that
to
be
just
some
get it
really
there?
good skills for Claude and have it do that kind of thing? Like how can we, as a Tableau community, help each other out and do more, and not necessarily be waiting for Tableau as a product to deliver something in the product?
That particular use case seems ripe with just some skills and some extensions to hack your own Bongo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the radio layout, potentially. I mean, not to the level of polish that we saw in that demo. Yep.
I voted for the radio layouts, knowing that that Matthew's piece was going to win by far.
Yep.
But I also it looked like it was almost there. She was dragging and dropping. It was as if it was a real feature set. So I'd expect that perhaps some of these things can make it into the product nonetheless.
Well, that was one piece where, just thinking about past devs on stage, Tableau, since Tableau Next became a product, and well, even since Cloud became a product, like what is a cloud feature, what is a server feature, what is a Next feature? It's been a little unclear. I feel like they got better at that this year, but there's still room to improve. Like that whole radio layout was done in Next, at least as far as what we saw.
You always have to check the fine print.
This is a lab. This was a Tableau lab, so it was very purposely not something that's coming to shipping right away.
Yeah.
But would they roll it out for?
Okay, so last one, another form of disagreement, the REST API extension.
Okay.
I thought that was huge. I was like, oh, great, I can just go and you said no, it plugs a hole.
It plugs a hole. Yep.
Yeah.
So with the REST API connector, so Tableau's never had an easy way to just give a URL and pull data out of it.
Right.
So in that way, the REST API connector is a huge win because it can do that.
I'm saying.
You can give a URL and pull down a CSV or a simple REST API.
Get me my tabular data from my endpoint. Boom, I've got it.
The thing with it is it's a 1.0 release. So so it's not a lot of the REST APIs pulled on JSON. The REST API connector can work with some JSON, but not all JSON. It can also only pull one JSON. How nested is it, for example, or what structure the data has. You can't, there's the Tableau JSON connector that can do more with JSON, but the REST API connector is a different connector. It doesn't have the capabilities of the JSON connector. There's another one. You can tell I've spent some time with this.
Yeah.
It also, on the authorization side, it can't handle all the authorization mechanisms that are out there. So since I'm helped with Tableau Server and Cloud, my first thing with the REST API connector was like, hey, could I use this to pull data out of Cloud or some REST API data out of Server and do something?
Right.
I've got a personal access token. I can log in the server. It can't do PAT.
It can't handle the patch.
In the way it can do token authentication, but the way Tableau does it, that's a multi-step process. The current REST API connector can't. So I'm giving this feedback to the devs and hope they continue to evolve it. One of the connector devs, I'm so sorry I blanked out on your name. We'll put it on the screen. She's actually on that team developing it. So
Yeah.
Okay. And I just also want to thank the effort to wrap up with this. Thank everybody from Tableau, because they could have random product manager person or VP of whatever out there doing the demos who doesn't really know the tool, and that Tableau invests the time to have the people who build the software actually
She said, I built this feature.
Yeah, yes,
Right.
Roxanne and,
Right.
and building it. And that stuff with the formatting and everything, like, okay, here's one I'm actually really excited about.
Okay.
Because in this day and age, we are still building dashboards that need to be presented in multiple ways.
Great.
Like it's going to be, okay, this dashboard is going to be presented in Zoom, but it's also going to be in that meeting with 20 people.
The vector graphics export.
And well, not just, so the vector graphics export is totally one of them, so we
Yep.
can get that high res
Huge.
that'll look great.
Great.
But to be able to click a button and go from, here's the 13-inch mode for it, and here's the one designed to be on the 20-foot wide projection screen where we need to bump up the font size
the
by
font,
20
the
points.
font, the dynamic font scaling.
And change colors so we have more contrast in the room.
Because today my viz is on a billboard. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and do that because the hoops we've done through are making multiple dashboards.
Yeah.
Like that's certainly a whole quality of life.
Yeah.
And that the person who built that was there was great. So I appreciate Tableau for continuing to give us
to come with those quality
that
of life
experience
experiences.
and
Yep.
and kind of demonstrate that they are people helping other people.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, well, my closing thought is just on the difference between the AI kind of agentic front that was in yesterday's keynote, that was clearly designed for the executives, and the absence of those things from the devs on stage, which means that the keynote and that agentic stuff is clearly speaking to a vision of the future.
Yep.
You know, so it's out ahead a little bit, and just identifying that from what I saw on devs on stage, we're still in the AI excitement mode, and I'm not yet seeing them get to the AI governance mode in terms of what's rolling off of the assembly line and available today.
And that's from like talking with Joe Constantino, who's the product manager for Tableau MCP. That stuff is in the pipeline for like Tableau knows they need to have more on agent governance and tracking of agents and how much are we spending on agents and so on.
Yeah.
Who's accessing what with their agents
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And so I'm just calling
That'll
out
be-
that it's clearly visible that we're not there yet, but it's needed.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Great digest.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
It's time for action.
It's time for